So I'm going to give you three tips you need if you're going into a player development interview. So far in this episode, let me go back to my first card. Y'all got like 9 of these. So we talked about how to support coaches during the transition. We talked about how to navigate the coaching transition. We talked about the hiring order when coaches get a job. And we talked about my 5 interviews in player development. And so now bonus, I'm giving you 3 tips. Because some of y'all was like, hey, that's great. You talked about your interview, but I have an interview in player development. I need some tips. So tip number 1 is to listen. Listen. You've heard it your entire life. Listen, okay? And you need to listen to coaches and athletic directors. What are they saying in this press conference? That athletic director, before they hire this coach, what are they saying? If they let the last coach go, if the coach left, they're saying, this is what we're looking for in a leader. This is what we're looking for our student athletes. You need to listen to what they're saying. Not only at the press conference, find the stuff. They're going to communicate normally with their own media department, but listen to what they're saying on other outlets as well. That head coach is going to have a press conference. He's going to sit there and he's going to talk about it all. He's going to thank all the people who've helped him. He's going to talk about what they're going to do as a program. He's going to talk about the type of athletes he wants in the program, what they're going to do off the field. And that's what you need to listen for. You need to listen to what this coach is saying about their program overall, right? This can happen at any sport. So now I know I was in college football, but this can happen at any sport. But that coach is going to talk about their program. For me, that coach, he was talking about his program and how this program was going to get done and what they were going to do. But for coaches, other sports, they're all going to say the same. If it's for coaches, he or she is going to say the same for every other sport. They're going to tell you everything you need to know in that press conference. So you need to listen to the press conference. And you need to listen to what they're saying. Don't listen for the coach speak. Coach speak is coach speak, right? This, that, but you need to see what they're saying. What are they saying? Get underneath that. What are they saying, right? Everybody wants their students to graduate. They're all going to say that. They want to be productive. But listen to what they say after that. How do they want them to graduate? How do you want them to be a productive person after that, right? So I would listen for that. Listen. Number 2, research. Do your research. Get that research on. It's so much information out there. So much information. You can research. Number 1, the role. You can run the role on whatever. Break down this role. You can throw it in ChatGPT or whatever. What is the role? But ChatGPT, put your resume in there. What are the strengths? What are my weaknesses, right? But you need to research the role. You need to research the role. Number 1, what are they asking, right? If they told you, maybe you got an interview and they didn't tell you what it is, you can say, hey, quick question, can you give me like an outline of what this position? They probably have the job description somewhere, right? They can send that to you. So research that. Research the coach. Research the coach. If they've been a sitting head coach, how did they do player development at the last place? If they're a coordinator, were they ever involved? Were they ever involved in any player development activations? Were they? You need to find that out, right? Research the school. What does the school do? What is the school known for? What does the school do for their players, their alumni? You need to find those things out. They're there. Research. Research the conference. What does the conference do at a conference level? Is there some activations you can have at the conference level? Do they have somebody that at the conference level who works on player development, athlete development, whatever that title will look like, right? And then research the city. What is the city doing, right? What is the city doing? Now, another way to research city, you got to research if you want to be there. Can you live there? Can you live there? So don't go in there saying, yeah, I'm going to be here for the next 5 years, and you get there 6 months and you want to move. There are some people that want to live in certain places. I've worked with people in player development. They want to work in certain places. Now, before we get going any deeper, I want to talk to you about the 2026 Player Development Summit. The 2026 Player Development Summit will be in Detroit, Michigan. We are so excited. What up, though, to be there. And this will be a gathering of player development, athlete development professionals who are coming together, and we are growing, we're networking, we're partnering to continue to ensure that the enhancement of the athlete experience will continue even long when we're gone. Now, if you like a gathering like that, there's information in the show notes. And if you want to sponsor that, if you're a company that wants to get an athlete in front of athlete development professionals because you have a service that can help, or if you're like, hey, I want to hire athletes. We're a company, we like athletes, we want to hire athletes. Or if you want to give to a cause, right? You're just like, hey, it's the holidays. You're like, hey, I got some money. I want to do some things. I want to give to a cause. You can sponsor the 2026 Player Development Summit. All that information is in the show notes. That's them. if you want to get into it, you may have to live places you have never left, especially specifically if you're single. If you have a family, you got to make your research for the city, but research the city. What are the opportunities? When I have to take jobs, I have to look at, can my wife get a job? Or is there a opportunity for my wife to get a job and have a job that helps her? She works in architecture, so I need to find cities that have architecture, right? I got to look at school districts, right? So you got to research the city, not only for what can help, how it can help you in player development, but also for you, because you're not going to be in that office all the time. Also for players, you need to find out, hey, I moved from Houston, I live here, this is what I do, this is where I go eat my stuff that reminds me back home, right? Seafood or whatever. You need to do that research. And then the big thing too is look at what's been done in that program, in that university. What has been done before? What is student? Oh, I forgot to say this. Research student athlete development. How does this football team work with student athlete development, right? And then what has been done? What has been done? What do they do? Do they do certain things? Do they do this program and that program? What has been done? And where are the areas where it can grow? Where are areas you can create things? And if things have been done, where's the improvement? The biggest room in the house is for improvement. Now I'll tell you a story. I had a chief of staff interview which was pretty interesting. Like they had a chief of staff position up and a player development position up, and the chief of staff position looked more like player development than the player development position did. So I was like, well, cool. I'm gonna interview for the chief of staff position. So I'm doing well. I'm going through the interview. I'm doing well. And then they asked me, and it was the one time I didn't research because I was like, I know well. They said, tell us about our university. And I just like, oh. I researched everything. I did so much research on athletics, so much on the city that I missed the research on the university and the stadium name. They got me on that. Tell us about the stadium. They were like, they were in one of our conferences previously. They're like, you're at the University of Houston. Tell us about the stadium. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't remember the stadium name. And so you need to research everything. It got me. I knew too. I was sitting there like, I was trying to finesse it, and I knew I couldn't finesse it. So please do that as well. And then the last one is to plan. They have told you pain points. You should have heard pain points from the first time they reached out to you till the interview, right? Until you get ready for this interview, somebody probably had a precursor or a prerequisite. I don't know what to call it, but a interview or a talk with you about, hey, this is why this role is important. Why this role is important to the football program or to the whatever program or to athletics as a whole. And so when they're saying this, you can ask, hey, so, what does it look like? What are y'all looking for? And what have been some challenges, right? You're listening for pain points, because now you can plan off the pain points. You can plan off the pain points. But bring up surface level solutions, though. I will say this, bring up surface level solutions, because you don't want to give them everything, because you give them everything, they're going to take off with that, right? I have a podcast episode right here, Interviewer Beware. Oh, no, it's not Interviewer Beware. It is, they took all my stuff. It's up here, but it talks about you can't give them everything, right? One of my guys, he worked at another university when I was leaving Baylor, or when I got fired at Baylor. He's at another university. And I was going to send everything. I wanted this job bad. I was going to send him a 25-page player development document, breaking down everything we're going to do in this city, everything we're going to do in the program. 25 pages, y'all, 25 pages. And he was like, don't do it. Don't send it to him. That's your intellectual property. And I'm so glad I didn't. I almost did. And they probably would be doing everything that I was going to send. So I learned there, you give surface level solution that you don't mind leaving out there. Solution, like one could be like, hey, have you ever thought about, engaging an alumni, not just during the season, but in the off season? Surface level, right? Well, how do we do that? Well, I would love to interview and talk about that more, right? So do that, but you want to plan, right? Solve problems, give them a little bit. Show that you can plan how to solve problems. When you're planning, you want to make sure whatever you're planning is solve a problem. Don't plan on something that they do well. I get it. But you don't want to plan on something they do well. They're already doing it. They don't need whatever you planning to get done because they do it well. You want to make sure that you're planning in regards to something that is a pain point. All right, so those are 3 tips you can use for your next player development interview. Number 1, listen. Listen to the press conferences. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what the coach and athletic director are saying. Number 2, do your research. Research this bad boy like it's a project, right? Research the role, research the city, research the university, the organization, whatever it may be, research. And then number 3, plan. Plan based off of the pain points. Plan what you're going to do when you get there, but give them surface level solutions. Boom, that's a bonus. That is the mega episode. Let's go. We cover 5 different things in this episode. I'm super excited. That's that. It happened. We did the mega episode. This coaching carousel, this coaching movement is a lot. So I wanted to give you as much there as possible. If you have any questions that you want to get answered from a player development aspect or just my experience, in the role and in working in sports, let me know. Like I said, information about the 2026 Player Development Summit is in the show notes. And get your copy of the Player Development Guide, my book that breaks down all I did in the role. That's pretty cool. I want you to get your copy. It's in the show notes as well. All right, as I always say, have a great day. Go out there and create generational impact. Don't wait, create that generational impact today. And here is the episode I talked about a lot during my time working for Tom Herman. What it's like working for a coach that everybody wants. We did it. Mega episode. We out.